don't think it was too harsh. How I described the ACC's football weekend.
Getting hit in the face with a hammer?
Yes. Well, by doing it to themselves.
Yes.
I mean, it would be like if the Big Ten hit the ACC in the face with a hammer, that would be one thing. But this is the Atlantic Coast Conference hitting themselves in the face over and over again with a hammer. My friend Brett Freidlander, ACC reporter emeritus, joins me now on the Adam Gold Show. Is that a fair representation of week 11 in college football?
Yeah, here's the thing. The Coastal Division is gone, but chaos lives on. This is Coastal chaos now on steroids, right? And when you think about it, Virginia, Duke, these are Coastal teams. So this,
Yep.
it's only right on brand, right?
It is very much on brand. So, as I pointed out before, we went into this past week, and I know that we saw the college football playoff rankings, and Virginia was the highest ranked team at 14th, but there were 4 ACC teams between 14 and I think 18, 14, yep. 15, 17, 18, something like that. And like, I never pay attention to the rankings. I don't care. They're fake. They don't matter. They redo it every week. I believe that they do, because honestly, you should. You can't project anything. There's no prediction. They don't predict. They're just saying this is what we have right now, and they add data points as we go along. I still believe
they make up new rules as they go along.
Yeah, they do. But the only rules they have to follow are the ones at the end. Everything else doesn't matter. And they've proven that year over year over year, that when they get down to the Final Four, other than the year that they screwed Florida State, I think they have gotten the right 4 teams before we went to 12 last year. And I don't disagree with what they did last year. I disagree with some of the conversations. But I think they have gotten the right 4 teams every year except the last year with Florida State getting completely screwed, because they deserved a spot in the playoff regardless of what their team looked like. And last year I really didn't have a problem with the teams that they chose. My only problem was that Miami probably should have been part of the argument at the end, and they weren't, because the ACC is disrespected. And that was definitely reflected in the college football playoff rankings last week, if it mattered. But I will just ask you this question, Brett. Were they right?
Here's the thing. If what happened in the ACC on Saturday had happened in the SEC, okay, right, had Mississippi State beaten Georgia and Auburn held on and beat Vanderbilt, we would have seen all over social media how great it is that the SEC is so strong from top to bottom, and how the parity and how the greatness of the SEC. And of course, it would have been reflected in the rankings, because Vanderbilt would have moved up 5 spots because it had a good loss, and Georgia would have been in the top 4 because it had a good loss. But the narrative about the ACC is, look how crappy it is because the top teams keep getting beat. So, did they get it right? I don't know, because as you just mentioned, everything other than the final rankings are clickbait.
Right. I agree. Now, I don't disagree with anything you just said there about the SEC and the perception, right? But isn't that perception earned both ways? Yeah. So, and I'll use this. Let me just use this as an example. We have Pitt right now that is 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
But their 2 losses, one of them is to Cincinnati, who's very good. Not amazing, but very good. And the other is to West Virginia, who is not very good. They're both Power 4 schools, but West Virginia is not very good. And this brings me to my larger point, in that we pat ourselves in the back. I don't. They do down in Charlotte. Pat themselves in the back for playing such a great schedule. And they lose too many of these games. And I'd just as soon Pitt have played Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Purdue, West Brom. And,
by the way, like the SEC schools do.
Yeah. Or like the Big Ten does.
Yeah.
Now, Penn State turned out to be trash. Indiana's not. Indiana's non-conference schedule's trash. Terrible. Yeah. Nobody cares. But we pretend that this is good when it's not.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The at least in basketball, the ACC seems to have figured out how to win those big
Except
games.
Boston College, yes.
Except for Boston College, you got to have that one bottom feeder. But yeah, you're right. I mean, playing a great schedule is great, but you got to win some of those.
Got to win enough.
And by the way, you were talking about the absolute chaos that could occur if Duke wins the ACC championship.
8-4, right?
You
now.
know
yeah.
that there is a realistic mathematical chance that NC State could still end up in the ACC championship game.
Are you joking?
If Pitt goes 7-1 in the league, and then everybody else below them ties at 5-3, which NC State could still do.
Yeah.
Then NC State would win tiebreakers and go to Charlotte.
I'm here for that.
Oh, absolutely. Because you know what? If you're going to go up in flames in style, right?
I would be absolutely here for that. I think the most, I don't even know if this is the most likely scenario, but I brought that up for Duke because Virginia here this week, then it's North Carolina at Kenan Stadium. I think Duke's better than North Carolina. I do want to talk about the Tar Heels for a second,
Duke is better than North Carolina when Duke decides not to beat itself.
Yeah, I mean,
because they've done it 3 times this year.
Yeah, they have certainly been their own worst enemy. But you're going to make mistakes in a football game. They just haven't been able to outscore their mistakes all the time. But ultimately, they give up a lot of points. And defense should be their defense should be better than it is. They give up too many points. But look, do I think they're going to win all 3 of these games? I think individually, I would say they're going to win each of these 3 games. But we haven't seen Duke being consistent in 3 losable games like this. But if they win out, we're going to be talking about Georgia Tech and Duke for the second time this year in Charlotte in the ACC championship game. And, I mean,
in front of hundreds.
That is true. That is true. There will be dozens
they can
of people.
tarp off the upper deck. It'll look okay.
There'll be dozens of people at Bank of America. But a 4-loss ACC team in the playoff. I mean, you can't recover from that.
No, but it might. You were talking about Miami earlier. That might be the best scenario there is for the ACC getting a second team in, because if Miami wins out and ends up 10-2, they could actually sneak in as that last team.
Oh, I think Miami is in the. I think they'll be in the playoff at 10-2,
and they won't have to worry about losing the championship game, which Mario would definitely do. But right, so I mean that would actually be the best case scenario almost for the ACC, I think.
Yeah, look, if the Hurricanes end up 10-2, they'll have enough good wins, against the playoffs ranking that I think they'll be in. I think they'll be in the playoff. They might be, the 11 seed or something like that, but I think they'll be in.
Doesn't matter. It gives Jim Phillips something to crow about. Hey, we got 2.
Yeah, and you're also at the mercy. I know, we kind of complain about the fact that the SEC gets the benefit of the doubt, and it's talked about differently. I mean, a lot of that is earned, and I mean, it's hard to deny across the board the SEC's dominance in the sport. I've been more bullish on criticizing the Big Ten for the absolutely undeserved top to bottom benefit of the doubt that they shouldn't get. Iowa gave Oregon a hard time, but I'm not sure Oregon's great. Right? They did win at Penn State, which at the time seemed like a good deal, and then they got
overtime.
It did take overtime, but it's like they had to drive just to get to overtime. They had to come back to get to overtime. But that seemed better at the time, and now Penn State has gone the other way. They don't know how to win. And but I'm not sure Oregon's good. I mean, Indiana taught them a lesson, right? Yep. And
although, I mean, listen, hey, you know what? Speaking of Indiana, if I'm Jim Phillips, I'm pounding my chest saying, hey, look, Fernando Mendoza is going to win the Heisman Trophy, and Indiana's going to be the playoff. He's one of our guys. We trained him at Cal.
Yeah, Cal. One of our guys. I love that. I'm just having a hard time. Like, Colin Morikawa, ACC legend. When can we get him at an ACC football media day or something like that? Look, the SEC has earned that reputation, so I'm good with it. What do you make of this? Because now the SEC is screaming loud again about 16-team playoff. Only your conference champion is automatically qualified. I know they even said we'd be good with 16 with no AQs, which, frankly, I would also be in favor of. But just your conference champion, 4 plus 1 from the group of 5, which would give you 11 at-large bids. Big Ten doesn't want it because the Big Ten knows what's up. But to me, as much as I know why the SEC is doing it, I actually think that's the best way to go if you're going to go to 16.
I agree, but I don't think that going to 16 is the answer, because if you look around, there may be 6 or 7 or maybe 8 teams right now that belong in the playoff, and 14, 12, whatever it is too many.
Yes.
Right? I mean, really, how many good teams are there really?
Great teams. I know what you're talking about, but we have this with basketball
if
too.
If you're going to go 16, 1 per conference, and then everybody else, you take the most deserving. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
No automatic bids beyond that.
The Big Ten doesn't want it because they know that they can't compare other than, on the 15th and first and the 15th of every month. They can't compare with the SEC. They get it.
Yep.
Their football at the very top with Ohio State, and all due respect, I'm not going to put Indiana in that mix, but whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, although, maybe it was just the Jim Harbaugh deal. Maybe they're going to kind of take a step back. They certainly have last couple of years. Oregon, we'll see. I mean, I think Oregon's kind of like nouveau riche college football deal. We'll see if Oregon maintains where they are. Maybe Southern Cal will come back. But at the very top, the Big Ten's got major football powers. But once you get past, they're just big schools. And that's all they are.
With a great TV contract that pumps them up like crazy. So, and that's all it takes. Hey, listen, if I'm the ACC, I'm going all in for that because it guarantees you that 1. And hey, if somebody else gets in there, great. And then it's basketball season. So, hey, one other thing too.
Sure.
Indiana's coach, Kurt Cignetti, a few years ago was coaching at Elon.
I know.
Anybody in the ACC could have hired him and potentially done what is happening in Indiana right now. And so when you blame what's going on at the ACC, a lot of it has to do with hires and,
to me, it's all like about that.
Right?
Like I know people will talk about money and support.
I
get it.
Press conference, great, but win games.
Yeah. I do think that we have hired poorly as a league in basketball too, right? I think we have in general hired poorly. And it has cost us. Like, I'll just, in basketball, look at, Louisville going to Kenny Payne, right? How much?
Autry.
Right? How much did that set back Louisville? We'll say hopefully Syracuse will be halfway decent this year. But how much did Adrian Autry set back Syracuse? And maybe he'll be a good coach down the road. Maybe it just took him time to figure out how to recruit, and then Syracuse you have to retain as well. And maybe Jay Lucas will kill it at Miami, and I hope he does. But no offense to Georgia Tech. Like, maybe they should have...
string of misses, haven't they? I mean, just going all the way back to Paul Hewitt.
Can we bring Paul Hewitt back? He coached a team in the Final Four.
Here's the thing, though. The best recent hire in ACC football was basically accidental. If they wait till the end of the season to fire Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech, Brent Key never gets that job. They do a full search and they hire some name guy. Instead, they hired the one guy who I think in this country may be the best fit for the job that he's got. It's crazy.
I thought you were going to say Bill Belichick. So let's close on this.
And by the way, they've won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But they've beaten two very bad football teams, and they've struggled to do it.
But
so
they're a bad
let's
football
not get
team.
too carried away with what's going on in Chapel Hill.
But they're a bad football team. The fact that they won these games also matters.
Yeah.
So are they improving? Because at least on the defensive side of the ball, I think they are. And I think if they keep games close, I give Bill an edge in the margins of the game, which is why I thought they would do a little bit better than their talent level all year. I just didn't realize their talent level was not very good.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to the conversation Victoria and I had while we were off the air while I was waiting to come on, in that they've got a quarterback who isn't going to win them games. Okay, Bryce Young, Gio Lopez, same deal. Ooh. They've got some pieces. They've got some nice running backs. They got a couple of good receivers. And they got a quarterback who can't deliver the ball and doesn't make good decisions. And so, yeah, you keep it close. And if he doesn't lose the game for you, you can win those. But it's if they get into a game, Duke. Okay, Duke's going to score points against them. Okay,
oh, yeah.
I mean, their defense is improved. Duke is going to score points. Does Carolina have enough offensively to outscore Duke? I don't think so. So
I agree.
There you go.
I agree. Duke would have to derp it up. Bryce Young catching strays here in our conversation about ACC football. All right, real quick, because I know you pay attention to the other sports as well. Caleb Wilson looks like as advertised.
He does. And you know what's really the thing about him that I love is that not only is he a 5-star talent, but when your best player is also your hardest working player and looks like he cares the most, that's a combination you just can't teach. And it's something that Carolina hasn't had in a long time. And yes, I think that he is the real deal. And I think he's going to take him a long way. And I actually think that the injury to Seth Trimble might end up being the best thing that happens to Carolina because it happened so early. Yeah. They already have a signature win on their resume against Kansas. That's a quad 1 win. It's going to stay a quad 1 win. But with Trimble being out now for 5 to 6 weeks, this is going to give Derek Dixon, this is going to give Luka a lot more opportunities to get some run and be ready. And they're going to be deeper. They're going to have more options, and they're going to be better when Trimble comes back. And I don't think that the drop-off is going to be that significant because their front court is so good, and their point guard seems to be a guy who really fits what they have very well.
All right, I'm going to take a I'm from Missouri type of an attitude with Carolina at point guard because I want to see more. I'm not like Kansas, I thought Kansas left a little bit to be desired. Maybe that was Carolina. But I am 100% on board. I think Caleb Wilson is a star. Vasar is a really good player and big. Stevenson, they've got things. And Luka, and I appreciate you just saying Luka because I'm just going to say Luka.
I can't pronounce it either.
I'll eventually get it. It took me about 4 years to get Antetokounmpo and Uiagalelei, but I'll get Luka's last name. I would say
the great thing about being in the
month.
Newspaper business or the print media is that all you have to do is spell it correctly.
Brett Freidlander, ACC Emeritus Superstar. Sir, I appreciate your time, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, Adam. Always enjoy it.
I love talking to Brett. That's great.